Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to have a look at the first video of this book, My System by Aron Nimzowitsch. So we're going to concentrate on chapter 1, the first part of chapter 1. In this video we're going to have a look at strategic advance of the troops, pawn moves as aid to development, the idea of development, exchange with gain of tempo, and liquidation to gain tempo. We will have a look at some of the examples that are mentioned in the book as well. The first part of the chapter emphasizes on strategic advance of troops. The author of the book explains that development as the strategic advance of the troops to the front line. So the front line is obviously the fourth rank for white. So anything beyond that is obviously enemy territory. So both armies will obviously try to reach the front line as fast as possible and develop all their pieces and to try have more control over the enemy territory. So development means all pieces have to be developed in harmony. So that's the first part of it. Also, the author of the book emphasizes on this midpoint in the board, and he emphasizes that all pieces have to be developed towards the center to have more control towards it, either by pawn or by your pieces. The second point in this chapter is pawn moves are considered as aid for development, not development itself. So an important lesson for a beginner is if it's possible to develop as many pieces as possible with less pawn moves. So aggressive pawn moves, for example, c4, knight f6 and c5 is considered bad because it's literally overextending itself, and here black can simply play e6 and try to easily attack this pawn. White has to use more resources to defend this pawn, and this could be a thorn in the flesh for white. Having central control with pawns is obviously considered important. Otherwise your opponent can easily displace your pieces. An example for that is given here as this. As you can see, white does not have immediate central control with the pawns. So as a result, black immediately attacks white's pieces and tries to displace them. As you can see down now, this knight is obviously under attack. And this is all possible because white didn't have full central control with their pawns. So the author of the book mentions pawn moves are only admissible in the opening only in two scenarios, either to occupy the center or to stand in logical connection with its occupation. So as a summary of this section, in open game, speed in development is considered key, and also every piece should be developed once, and make sure all your pieces are developed in harmony. The author also emphasizes that every pawn move in the opening is considered as a loss of tempo. The exceptions are if a pawn move is made to build or support the center or to attack the enemy center is not considered as a loss of tempo. The third point mentioned in this chapter is developing a piece to gain tempo. As you can see here, queen takes the pawn and now white uses the knight to simply displace the queen. So moving a piece 2 or 3 times in the opening is considered a waste of tempo. And Nimzowitsch describes this as a racer. Once the race has started, waste time not running and will not be able to win the race. So here queen a5, and now as you can see, white has 2 pieces developed. Queen, it's still not a bad position, but what he emphasizes is that that white was able to displace the queen by moving their own knight. The fourth point is exchange to gain tempo. There are 2 examples in this point. The first one is the queen's gambit declined, and here after knight takes d5, the queen has to take the pawn, and if the queen takes the pawn, you simply play knight c3, and this is also considered as a waste of tempo. This gain of tempo for white was because of the exchange of pawns. Now instead of queen taking the pawn, what if knight takes the pawn? You still have here e4, and now the knight will be displaced as well. Now white has a good center. The second example, here this is the king's gambit decline. It was possible during those days, but not possible nowadays. Again, here white initiates the exchange, and then soon as the queen captures, knight c3 displaces the queen first. Queen moves away, and here knight takes e5. This obviously black queen has to capture, otherwise they lose a pawn. And bishop e2. Bishop attacks this white bishop, and here white plays an in-between move d4, and once the bishops are exchanged, black has to move the queen, and here white castles. And as you can see, black has only developed the queen. White, on the other hand, with the aid of exchanges of pawns, have developed 3 pieces and also castled the king. And this is considered as a gain of tempo. And the final point in this video is liquidation to gain time. So the author describes a situation when a businessman sees his business not profitable. He obviously would like to close it down, try to get as much as money by selling that business and invest whatever proceeds from that business into another investment. And that is similarly here. Here black initiates an attack. And after queen takes d5, here white, as usual, we have seen this position quite a few times now. And after the this thing, black initiates a pin on this knight. After bishop d2, now as you can see, there is a lot of tension in the center. So what should black do? The best thing for black here is to relieve the tension. For example, if they try to move away the queen, then something like this could be bad for black. So how can black relieve the tension? They can simply exchange the pieces, and as you can see, black has relieved the tension and in no way is behind in development. And this is a very good idea of strategy which the author has mentioned in this book. He mentions that if your attack is not successful, try to relieve the tension by exchanging pieces and simplifying them. And in here, black is no way behind in development, still a playable position. I hope you enjoyed this video. For more videos like this, please like and subscribe, and it's bye for now.